The Trump administration over and over again failed to follow science and tried to replace people who understood science with people who were shills for polluting industries. You have announced that you're planning on investigating the scope of that problem within EPA, and you've already replaced some of the more egregious appointments whose original appointment was not consistent with the law. I congratulate you on that. What can you tell me about the status of the EPA internal investigation into meddling with the science on which your agency is supposed to depend?
Well, thank you for that question. And we've a couple of things. I think we're taking a careful look at what the IG reports are revealing to us, which are alarming. I am, listening to the agency experts, and I know many have cast the SAB and the KSAC replacements as being political, but it's the exact opposite. What I did was sought the expertise of the career scientists and the career staff to better assess who should be in these seats advising the agency. And what we determined, as you stated, was the previous administration followed a process that was unlike any process of any previous administration, both Democrat and Republican. And what it did was it soiled the process in itself. So we hit the reset button. And what we are aiming to do is invite those who previously served and those new individuals that want to serve to reapply and provide the best scientific experience to us. While we're doing that, we're also following the advice of our science and doing a complete review of many of the regulations that were put forward in the previous administration and doing a full accounting. That was directed to us by the president, and that has been my goal, to take a look at all the regulations that lack the scientific integrity or the legal acumen, and where we see that lacking, we're going to revise those regulations.
Do you think that this conduct under the Trump administration was a kind of mass coincidence of some kind?
I think that the previous administration made poor decisions that lacked scientific integrity and
Do you think there was a reason
level of
for it?
transparency.
Do you think there was a reason for it?
I don't pretend to know what the intentions were of those individuals, have not spoken with them. What we've chosen to do is focus on where things have been done incorrectly or lack that scientific integrity or legal integrity. We're righting those wrongs.
If it turns out that a lot of these examples were driven by the same force, were interconnected in some way, would that be worth EPA knowing? Or are you simply going to treat this as if this was just some kind of peculiar mass allergy to science that had no impetus behind it, no force behind it, no purpose behind it?
I think as our staff reviews, especially our general counsel reviews the actions that we're taking a look at what actually occurred, what the motivations were, and based on recommendations that I'll get from my general counsel, that we'll get from GAO, that we'll get from the Inspector General, we'll govern ourselves accordingly with the evidence as it's presented.
Well, the great questions are always who, what, where, when, and why. I urge you not to overlook the why. At the same time, the White House has announced a task force on scientific integrity with a similar responsibility, but beyond the EPA, to reach across agencies of government and ferret out examples where the science was deliberately overlooked or ignored, or where special interests got access to the process so that they could put their honchos in instead of people who actually understood the science and were willing to act on it. How is that going? Do you have any visibility into that process? I assume you are contributing to it in some way as one of the agencies of government. What can you tell us about how well that's going?
Well, I can say that we will be contributing to that process, and we are having these conversations. The EPA has never and will not act in isolation. Many of the decisions that we make not only impact our stakeholders, but impact our sister agencies as well. So to your point, the wisdom behind it is it's a government-wide approach. We're going to be a central player in that. We believe that what we're uncovering will inform that process, and what that process uncovers will inform ours as well.
Well, I'll conclude by observing that if at the end of the day nobody understands the cause of all of this, you haven't done your jobs.